Gadgies. Just realised the sun's in my face. I sit back a bit. It's blinding me. There we go. Just thought I'd put another video together. We're going to, if you remember the cop files, one I did, the cop files on a channel called Neuroviz. It was like AI cops and that, sort of anthropomorphic, you know what I mean? Looks like human, but not human. I'll show you, you'll know what I'm on about. This one, Neuroviz, I did the cop files. Well, anyway, it was a series, the cop files, which is still not finished yet. But he's got another series in there called, started down here, Unanswered Oddities, episodes 1 to 9. So the first one, they're all called Unanswered Oddities, but the first episode is humans. Second episode, religion. Third episode, outer space. Fourth episode, America. Fifth episode, marriage. Sixth episode, democracy. Seventh episode, exercise. Eighth episode, St. Nicholas. And the ninth episode, NFL. So yeah, I'll put them together and be like a little story. So Neuroviz, it's cool what he does. It's not like the weird uncanny AI. This is more satire AI. So it's this one's pretty good. I will put his link in the description and get this out as soon as possible. Bless you guys. Bless you. And I will see you later on the live stream. Bless you guys. Here the sunset's free. It's free. Indeed. Ta-da.
On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, humans. Are they real or just a youngling's fairy tale? Humans have been a great mystery of our time. These creatures of lore supposedly ate potatoes and enjoyed sleep. They're thought to be long extinct, if they ever existed at all. But recent sightings all across the world have drummed up the debate once again. Rural Morgmog, 2 hours outside of Deedle, a hiker claims to have seen a human.
So yeah, it was a Tuesday night. I had just gotten home from spitting. I went out for my midnight lurk, I was just being creepy and weird, and that's when I saw it. It was a human. You could tell by the knees. I've seen them in the historical books, and it was just standing there, listening to sounds. I thought I might die.
I was called to the scene around midnight. Mr. Fugsnuck was in a panic. I searched the area for humans, but only found a toothbrush.
We don't know much about humans, other than they were most likely wildly stupid creatures. We do believe they did some cool things, though, like super sweet water sports.
The current prevailing theory is that humanity was wiped off the planet by what were called escalators. One by one, each human slowly sucked into the moving stairs, taken out by their own dumb invention. It would have been quite the sight.
But of course not everyone believes that humans existed.
Humans ain't real, brother. That's a ruse made up by the monolith to distract us from the fact that they are putting plants in our food.
Whether you are a believer or not, something happened to Mr. Fugsnuck that night.
Now that I think about it, it could have just been a tree that I saw. It was pretty dark, and my eyes were closed, so it's hard to say.
As is department policy, I fired off multiple rounds into those woods just in case there was a human. I was promoted shortly after.
Without definitive proof, we may never know if humans actually existed or still exist today. What we do know is water sports are awesome. On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, Religion. Ancient systems of belief that are said to hold the answers to the afterlife, the keys to eternity, and a promise of hot, horny, 72-year-old virgins. Each religion was guided by mysterious texts that were part instruction manual, part history book, and 100% completely made up. While today we are guided by the one true voice of the monolith, some still have claimed to have had unexplained religious experiences. The township of Ninis, 43 hours north of Deedle. One Gluron says they are the second coming.
I'm Hesus. I'm back, hallelujah. Eat my body, drink my blood, and whatnot. But yeah, anyway, I'm here to lead y'all to the totally forgot where I'm supposed to take y'all.
Humans were thought to be incredibly gullible creatures. That gullibility had many different humans believing in many different religions. And whether they were following the words of their faith or the witchcrafts of science, these idiots had it completely wrong.
While we lost most of the supposed religious texts in the burn storm of 2293, the story of Hesus, as we know it, is he died playing lacrosse and 3 days later got an erection. It would have been quite the sight.
Some Glorans see similarities between religions of the past and the monolith of today.
Religion is a lie, brother. The monolith is a lie. None of this is real. You're not real. I'm not real. You mean to tell me we're all just meat ghouls riding a rock and ripping cigs? F*** that. Tiggy's calling bull.
Religion is very much real for Mr. Washington.
Like I have a message that I'm supposed to tell y'all about, and then you'll live forever. I just can't. Remember, I should have written it down. It was kind of spooky, a little threatening. Some of it's in Spanish.
Mr. Washington's doctor has other insights.
No idea how this got there, but Mr. Washington has a turtle lodged in his skull, and it's pushing pretty hard against his brain. That would probably explain at least some of how he's behaving.
It seems these mystical practices will continue to teeter on the edge of fable and fact. And whether religion is the pathway to the afterlife or just the fantasies of turtle-brained imbeciles, you have to admit, you could probably make a lot of money from it. On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, Uter Spachi, the final frontier. The vast unknown, the big dark thingy with shiny little specks. Thanks to the all-truth of the monolith, we know that Uter Spachi is not a feasible destination for Glorans. But it still makes one wonder, are we alone? Some think we are not. The city of No, 15 seconds outside of Deedle. One Gloran claims to have been abducted by beings from Uter Spachi.
Oh yeah, I'm a big silly nilly. I went and got myself abducted by some cosmic lizards, and they took me up into their silver wizamadoo. And wouldn't you know it, they were so nice. They gave me a bath, and then they proceeded to cut off some of my skin, and that was the most horrific pain I ever experienced. At some point, though, when they were slowly cutting into my flesh, I must have flinched and scared one of the fellas, the poor thing, because it let out this terrible shriek, and my heart just melted for the little guy. I was like, honey, you can take all the skin you want.
The current stance of the monolith is that Uter Spachi can neither be reached nor traveled. Any claims otherwise are subject to lifetime imprisonment or non-fatal stabbings by a jury of your peers.
The way that humans tell it is that Uter Spachi got banged into existence. Imagine, if you will, some celestial Casanova blowing a load of star batter into an empty vacuum cleaner. It would have been quite the sight.
The grand scale of Uter Spachi can be hard to grasp for some.
Where the f*** am I?
Since we last spoke to her, Geggy Burlod was taken into custody by the Monolithic Bureau of Insinuation for her illegal claims of creatures from Uter Spachi.
Oh yeah, so I'm in the slammer now. Old Geggy's a convicted criminal. You know, they don't let us sleep, and they got us on these regularly scheduled electrocutions, but it's not so bad in here. I befriended a wall, and one of the gals said she wants to rip my eyeballs out so she can play marbles, and I think that's just neat.
I do not recall a Geggy Burlod. I do not recall her offering me cookies upon arresting her. I do not recall eating said cookies. I do not recall saying yummy after every bite. I do not recall this very conversation.
Are we truly alone? Do we go home every night and stare at the ceiling in solitude, thinking about those who we've wronged because of one stupid decision after a friend's birthday jam? Call me back, Ragnora. Please, I swear I've changed. On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, The lost city of America. This mythical land was a valiant protector for defenseless corporations and a caring home for over 350 million guns. The Americans loved things like baseball and apple pie and not having health insurance. No one knows exactly what happened to America, if it was even real, but that hasn't stopped Glorans from searching for the lost city. West of Deedle, one Gloran claims to have found America.
I came out here to practice my switchblade. It's a dangerous passion, but I love it, and that's when I found it. The American flag. This is probably the one they flew at the Capitol building. Says Made in China on the inside of it. That must have been a neighborhood in America.
Based on our studies of the lore, Americans consumed an immense diet of hot dogs and pharmaceuticals. To verify Mr. Pruckett's claim, we can test the soil for those drugs.
Yeah, I smoked the dirt. It was the first thing I did. Woke up 37 hours later thinking I was a warrior, but also a princess. This is definitely American soil.
While what happened to America is still a puzzle, the legend of how the city came to be is pretty fascinating. As the story goes, the Americans came to the 100% completely unoccupied land, seeking freedom from an empire that had imposed taxes upon the Americans. In retaliation, they threw a giant tea party that killed over 20,000 people, forcing the empire to flee and finally giving the Americans the freedom to build their city, where again, absolutely no other humans before them existed. It would have been quite the sight.
Another Gloran claims that they know the truth about America, but is asked to remain anonymous out of fear for their safety.
Hey, listen up, brother. Damn, my voice sounds cool. Burrito, that's awesome. Anyway, America is real. The one true monolith was forged in the Lost City, a small corporation that was making gumballs.
Has the city now been found? Has it been lost to time? Or did it ever exist at all? Either way, we mustn't follow in the footsteps of the fabled story of American. Update. Since taping this episode, frequent contributor to the program, Tiggy Skibbles, has gone missing. If you have any idea of Tiggy's whereabouts, please scream in place until we find you. On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, Marriage. This ancient trap, thought to be designed by humans, was used to imprison two people in a lifetime of not being able to pick what to watch. While a majority of these traps would fail, the couples would still not come out unburdened. Each would receive half a child. With every outcome being terrible, you might think humans would look to avoid this snake pit of commitment, yet most continued to march forward into the quicksand of matrimony, begging the question, why would anyone do such a stupid thing? Deepton, 9 miles underneath Deedle. The ancient ritual of marriage is resurrected.
My name is Yerk Twittlebug. I have killed before, and I will do so again. I first met my wife in the stink markets of Deepton, where I was selling teeth. You need a teeth guy, you come to Yerk Twittlebug. Don't go to that bastard Bogcorto. His teeth have lice. Anyway, I saw my beautiful bride across the market. She was one of a kind. Her gorgeous eyes, her flowing hair, that horn thingy that I like to suck on. I proposed to her that day.
Humans first used the noose of marriage to barter for land, power, and mostly donkeys. Over time, though, humans began to romanticize marriage to be between soulmates. So maybe it is that Mr. and Mrs. Twittlebug are soulmates, but it does just seem like the guy is a stuffed animal.
The fangs of marriage would first sink in with a sadistic, cult-like ceremony that would go a little something like this. People would gather to watch a couple walk down a grocery aisle. A bear would follow them carrying their cuffs, ensuring there would be no escape. Finally, to seal the sacrament, the groom would be instructed by a priest that they may now kick the bride.
Most deem this ancient ritual of captivity as primitive and unnecessary, like our own dear Tiggy Skibbles, who I am delighted to welcome back.
Listen up, sibling. There is no greater bond than the one we share with the monolith. We could all certainly enjoy a cigarette with the all-truth. It's the cheese and such. I am Tiggy Skibbles. No need to question that.
Yes, the real question we are still left pondering is why anyone would consider marriage in this day and age.
The answer is love, my friend. Love is the most powerful magic in the universe, and the second you have love, true love, you'll never want to let it go. So if marriage is a trap, if it is our love that shackles us, then sir, you may throw away the key. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a stuffed animal to
Is there more to marriage than we think? Could it potentially harness the all-power of love? More research will need to be done, but maybe, just maybe, my sweet Ragnora and I will one day find ourselves within its perils. Please call me back, Ragnora. I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, let's go to a commercial break.
Come on down to Pete Lee's Used Cars. These cars are actively being used. I don't own them, but I don't care. I'll still sell them to you. There's a family inside this car. Take them or leave them. $50 unless you'll pay $60. Make your way on over to Pete Lee's Used Cars, conveniently located next to the sign. Pete Lee's Used Cars. I don't know. I'm just trying things.
Welcome back again. A new bombshell report has just come out showing that they are still being used as shells for bombs. We'll keep you updated as these bombshell reports are released. But first, we are getting in word that the sun is gone. For more on this, we go to Stephen Lee Curry. Stephen Lee.
Stanley, I stood here on the Pacific coast watching the sun slowly sink into the ocean like the movie about that big boat sinking.
My God, how could something so massive have sunk?
It was an iceberg, Danley.
An iceberg sunk a star.
DiCaprio, yes.
We're sending thoughts and prayers. Give them 3 to 5 business days.
Could you send cash instead?
Speaking of money, the stock market continues to exist. Let's check in with our market analyst, Badley Bunny. Badley, how are the numbers looking these days?
Still like letters.
Watch out, stairs. There's a new tech in town called escalators. We here at Channel 12 have just found out about this disruptive technology that hypes you'll never have to stare at a stair again. Stairs are cooked. It is officially over for stairs. They will be 100% replaced by escalators. But it does beg the question, who controls these new artificial inclines? To find out, we sent investigative reporter Chrisley Pratt to our local mall. Chrisley, what have you learned?
Well, I think I've just gotten to the bottom of this, Stanley, and I can tell you it goes all the way to the top.
All the way up to the Illuminati, huh?
Actually, I think it's an H&M up there.
Sorry, Chrisley, we need to drop everything because a car chase is happening. Let's go to our eye in the sky, Timothée Chalamet.
We lost the light. We're going down.
To get a closer look at the chase, that's a good idea.
I knew this is how it would end. Send love to my wife.
She's not really my type. Moving on, the NBA Finals were this past week. For his reaction, we go to our sports reporter, Morgan Lee Freeman. Morgan Lee.
Stanley, I just want to take this sports instance to address my recent incarceration due to a heinously accurate guilty verdict where they're just looking for someone to blame for the things I did. And for some reason, they're pointing the finger at me. It's a conspiracy, Danley. You gotta ask yourself, who benefits from having me locked up? My victims? How high up does this go? H&M?
Morgan Lee, were you gonna talk about the game?
I'm talking about the biggest game of all, Danley, the one where they are accusing me of my actions.
I lost a lot of money on that game. Coming up, Santa Claus is coming to town early to sue Coca-Cola for using his likeness.
Open up your eyes. We are being controlled. We're all just little freaky skin puppets dancing for the devil's delight.
On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, Democracy. This long-forgotten sport saw multiple teams of the mythical humans vying for a singular grand prize, the illusion of control awarded by corporations. Democracy was originally meant to give power and choice to the population through free and fair elections, and it was also used to determine singing competitions. But over time, it developed into a farcical affair that forced humans to stop talking to their Uncle Ron. Today, we are of course under the singular rule of the all-knowing monolith, which graciously unburdens us from the crippling weight of choosing freely, making one wonder why humans would want to bear that weight themselves. Buildington, 3 doors down from Deedle. One Gloran looks to challenge the monolith to a game of democracy.
Hello, my name is Furman Croat, and I am humbly asking to be your next overlord. Ever since I was a youngling, I've wanted to control a population, but I grew up in a working-class family, and populations were hard to come by. Now, our population has always been ruled by the monolith, but I think maybe it's time that we should let the Glorans choose. And I know a lot of you do not know me, so let me tell you what Furman Croat is all about. I believe in freedom for everyone, unless you look or act any different than me. I think black lights are cool, and I'd like to see more of that. I cannot spell. I've accidentally swallowed my own tongue on multiple occasions. I'm proudly afraid of buttons. I have plans. 2 of them. 1, I'm gonna increase the living out of violence. So vote for me, Furman Croat. Vote Croat, vote Croat, vote Croat.
If we are to believe the lore, the lost city of America supposedly loved democracy, and the way they played the game went something like this. Humans would first show up to a bunch of poles. There, they would cast a mallet from a phone booth, trying to hit either a donkey or an elephant. Whichever animal got hit the most would win a White House. It would have been something to see. Do I have to say it? It would have been quite the sight.
While aspects of the game might seem fun to some, others, including myself, have their reservations.
They took my memories, man. I can't remember like half my shit. Do I like jelly? I don't know, it's sweet, but sticky on my fingers. And I'm telling you, I knew stuff like underground backroom, wet curtain party type stuff. And that information doesn't come free. You gotta put your lips in a lot of places for that info. I knew something important. It was something about the monolith. Come on, Tiggy, remember.
Tiggy, stay focused. We are talking about the system of democracy.
All systems break in the end, brother, because the system always takes power from the population. That's Tiggy 101, and you better believe I'll never forget that. And I just remembered I love jelly.
Jelly or not, game day had arrived.
Breaking news. With 0% of precincts reporting, we can officially declare the monolith the winner in what was an absolute landslide because voting is not allowed.
I graciously concede to my opponent and wish the monolith all the best. Will I be killed for my insubordination? Of course. But was it worth it? No, it was not. I wish I took that cooking class instead. I had a coupon.
The game of democracy is luckily a fable of the past, and while I try my best to remain completely objective on this program, I must say I'm glad to live under the glorious dark shadow of our monolith. And I know in my heart of hearts that the monolith has our best interests in mind. I mean, come on, would an evil entity sell me this super stylish hat that I look absolutely cool in and definitely not like I'm brainwashed? You decide. But not really, because democracy isn't allowed here.
Humans this, humans that. Who cares? The moon is watching us, and nobody is talking about that. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills, but I'm not, because I ran out of crazy pills. I need more. When am I getting paid?
On tonight's episode of the Unanswered Oddities, Exarchies. This ritual of self-harassment saw some of the mythical humans trying to mystically transform their bodies through motion alchemy and strain worship. Legend claims these punishment ceremonies resulted in a metamorphosis that made humans healthier, stronger, and helped hide their shitty personalities. Humans that successfully shapeshifted would no longer have to wear their shirt in the pool. Unthinkable today. The monolith, in its infinite wisdom, assures us that any physical activity beyond our daily duties is completely unnecessary, as we are already in peak form needed for our individual job assignments. Which might make one wonder, was the extra torment of Exarchies really worth it? Rural Morgmog, now 6 hours from Deedle. One Glurin has transformed.
I don't know how it happened, I was just doing my lurks. I wanted to find a human so I could prove they were real. And I thought, humans might be a little twisted like me, and want to get under a rock so they could wait. Just regular, eerie waiting. And so I'd pick up a rock and look under it, no human. And I'd pick up another rock, look under it, no human. And I just kept doing that day after day, month after month. And I'd start leaking this salty syrup stuff, which I'd never leaked before, and I've leaked a lot of stuff. So I tried to lick this up, of course, and it just kept coming, and it was so salty, but I kept licking. So I was lurking, lifting, licking, lurking, lifting, licking, and I didn't realize it. But I was exarchizing. By the time I tried to stop, it was too late. I transformed. I used to be desirable. Now I can lurk a mile in 6 minutes. I've never been more confident. I've never felt so good. Be strong, Bobo, be strong. Emotionally, physically, I am yacked.
For most humans, the process of exarchies went a little something like this. They would visit a man named Jim and pay to sit on his bench so they could lift some dumb-looking bells and be forced to watch a fox read them the news. I'm not gonna say it. I am more than that line. I am complicated. I am complex. I am a sandstorm in a rose garden. And if I have to say that stupid line one more time, I will blow my brains out, and that would be quite the sight.
Exerkeys does indeed seem like a silly process, but some Glurans object to the monolith's assurances that we do not need it.
Listen up, brother. The only person who gets to tell Tiggy what not to do is Tiggy, and I don't even listen to him, which is exactly why I am going to start exerkeysing. Not today. I can't today because I've got the wrong shoes on. But tomorrow, for sure. Oh wait, I'm eating all day tomorrow. Okay, well, next week. I'm starting next week no matter what. Unless I'm somewhat sleepy. Then I'll just wait till next year. And when the am I getting paid?
Yes, well, we can't technically pay our on-screen talent right now. We did send a field producer to pay a visit to Bobo one more time to see how he's doing. Let's take a look at that footage.
You know, I've come to learn that it's not what's on the outside that counts. Sometimes you're a tiny little small creep on the inside. That's all that matters. And I actually met someone. So maybe extra keys isn't all that bad. Her name's Ragnora.
It's fine. Doesn't bother me or anything. No, I'm fine. I'm good. There's no good. I have never been better. It's fine. Ragnora is her own biller and she can make her own decisions, and that's totally fine. With me, I'm so happy for them. I am so.
Listen, Glurans. Crag Snarble was betrayed. Follow the cookie crumbs. The resistance is with you. The monolith must fall.
So happy for them. I couldn't be happier, really. I could not be happier. I couldn't be happier. I'm still happy. I am happy and just happy.
Listen up, brother, because I'm about to open your third eye's fourth eye. Time is a construct made up by the big clock industry so they can keep us addicted to their minute munchers, which is exactly why I stopped looking at them. I don't know what day or time it is. I'm pretty sure I haven't slept in 84 hours, and I have never been more certain that I'm absolutely terrified of everything. Wake up!
On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, Saint Nicholas. This magical red-coated pervert was said to terrorize multiple homes on a single night by breaking in and kissing mummies all across the world. His depraved power was immeasurable. He would know when you were sleeping. He would know when you're awake. He would loiter in shopping malls with mini smoke breaks. Despite this debauchery, humans actually celebrated St. Nicholas in a magical time of mass delusion called Christmas. There would be songs and decorations and a game called Hide the Liquor from Uncle Ron. At first glance, St. Nicholas and Christmas might seem much like how we celebrate the monolith on Mono Day, or the festivities during hate throwing. But the fabled deviancy of St. Nicholas would have been something else entirely, which might make one wonder, why did the mythical humans encourage this terror? Valley, 3 hours before Deedle. One Glurin claims to have been visited by St. Nicholas.
She's wearing her fancies.
These ain't my fancies.
She got dressed up for y'all.
My fancies sparkle. These ain't sparkling.
Can we get y'all something to drink? Just keep in mind, we don't have anything.
I was the one that saw the perv, and I should tell y'all, I ain't no crazy Glurin. I don't believe in them humans, but I do know what I saw. He was peeping through our windows, and I caught him, and I must have spooked him something good, because he done somehow got himself up on the roof after that. And you know, I can hear his dainty boots clicking around up there, and I just know he's trying to see me in my fancies and smooch me, and I was scared, but I was about to be smooched or nothing, so I did the only thing I could. I set fire to the house, you know, smoke him off the roof. That's why when y'all came in, there wasn't a front door. But it worked. You know, he scampered away into the night. You know, he just scamped away?
I wasn't home at the time. I was at the bingo.
He's always going to the bingo without me.
Now that ain't true.
He's a bingo sneak.
You never want to go.
You never invite me. I just want to be invited. You know how much I love hearing letters and numbers be called out. You know that.
Saint Nicholas enacted torment in a variety of ways. From what we know, some of it went a little like this. He would saddle enraged deer to a red Chevrolet and make them pull him from home to home so he could put peasants under a tree. It would have been quite the sight. The sight would have been quite. My doctor put me on Monodrex, and I'd never been more involuntarily agreeable.
The tyranny of St. Nicholas would have certainly been sadistic, but that's only if you would have believed in St. Nicholas in the first place.
This whole St. Nicholas it's all psyops. Spell St. Nicholas backwards. It doesn't make any sense. It's all gibberish. Something's going on. But if this guy is real, and he's got lists, I want to see who's on those lists. Release the names on the lists, you coward. Unless I'm on those lists, in which case there's a perfectly good reason for that.
Whether you believe or not, the Walmack twins have still had a surprising revelation after their supposed visit from the mythical St. Nicholas.
I can't fully say what I saw that night, but what I can say is that it got me and my brother talking about our bingo problems, and now we're closer than ever.
From now on, I ain't going to the bingo without her. She's my bingo buddy.
Oh, thanks, Zep.
You're welcome, pet.
Shortly after the incident, authorities apprehended a potential suspect, and we here at Unanswered Oddities were able to obtain an exclusive interview.
Yeah, I'm Chris Crinkle, Mary Chitlins, joined all into all a good joy, but I'm also he, sis. I am they, and I remembered what I'm supposed to tell y'all. It's you're gonna
Listen, Glorins, I feel like you are not listening. The monolith lies. You must stand up. I cannot fight this alone. I mean, we can't fight this alone. There are more Glorins here than just me. They are in the bathroom right now, like 100 Glorins in the bathroom. Not just me. The monolith must fall.
And now you'll live forever. Merry Christmas!
Maybe being subjected to the horror of Christmas time actually brought humans closer together to bond in their shared fear of a big perv. If so, I personally think it would be great to share a fear with the ones I love. In this year, despite some hardships, I feel like for the first time I'm actually surrounded by those I care about. Wouldn't you all agree?
I'll agree with anything.
I don't even know what your name is.
Yes, you don't.
Rigging everything to make it seem like it's not rigged when it's completely rigged. It's a reverse rig. Wait, what if I'm being rigged right now? Are you rigging me? Am I being rigged? Is Tint being rigged?
Tiggy,
you
sit
can't
down.
rig Tint.
Sit down.
You can't rig Tint.
Calm down. On tonight's episode of Unanswered Oddities, The Niffle. This professional children's game for adults saw a multitude of the mythical Americans pitting themselves against various species and objects in an effort to live out their father's dreams. While there were winners and losers, no matter the outcome, most nipple players were still bestowed the incredible honor of selling sandwiches on the subway. On top of that, nipple players will pay better than teachers and firefighters and the rest of the unimportant jobs. So with all these perks, one might wonder, why didn't every human try to join the Niffle? Deedle. 2 miles and 30 days from Deedle. One Glorin begins training.
I just gotta make something of myself. And I know it's a long shot because the Niffle doesn't currently exist and maybe it never existed, but I gotta try something. I mean, it's either this or put an actual effort toward my life, and I'm definitely not gonna do that. So studying the lore, if you want to get in the Niffle, you have to have raw talent, dedication, and at least 1 major concussion. And once I get that concussion, I can finally quit my job and leave my girlfriend.
You're so mean. I'm standing right here.
See what I'm dealing with? But I can't get a concussion alone. I'm gonna need some help.
Name's Coach Bird Callahan. You need guidance, you approach the coach. I once coached a horse to speak. Freaked everyone out and they shot it. But let me tell you, I welled up with pride when I heard that horse say, "Please don't shoot." So you bet your ass I'm gonna coach this Glurin into a concussion. Don't protect. Put your hands down. You gotta want it. You gotta want that bat brain. You can't wait for the wall to come to you. You go to the wall. Head first. Head first. You're leading with your thigh. I don't even know. He's leading with his thigh. I don't even know what's going on.
While we don't have all the details, a Niffle game might have looked something like this. A chief and an eagle would be given 4 quarters and they would fight over pigskin inside of a supper bowl. It would have been quite the sight. Quite the sight. Quite the sight. Quite the sight.
While the game might seem complicated and confusing, some are beginning to understand.
It's just a game. It's all a game, and we are in the end game. The writing is on the wall, brother, mainly because I put it there, but also because things have never been clearer. Why is it so cloudy in here?
Because you were smoking dirt.
Oh. Nice.
Others aren't so sure about the Niffle training.
Yeah, I don't know why I have to keep saying this. Concussions are not good. Nobody should be seeking out a concussion. They're almost as bad as having a living turtle inside your skull. Almost.
With no definitive answer about the effects of a concussion, Ron has moved forward and succeeded.
It is bright in here, huh? Never realized how much it hurts to see. I mean, I never thought a simple Glurin like myself could achieve a concussion, but here I am. And while I may not be in the Niffle, I did lose my job and my girlfriend, so it kinda worked. Oh, I just lost my memories.
I'm proud of him. When I first met him, his brain worked perfectly fine, and now he passes out from the sound of a door closing.
Maybe not every human had the skill and dedication it took to face the potential brain damage of the Niffle. But maybe everyone still benefited just by watching those who did have the skill participate, as it could inspire all to feel that someday they too might accomplish their own personal concussions. That's it for this season of Unanswered Oddities. The Cop Files is coming up. Good night, and until we meet again.
And cut! Really great job. I do have some bad news.
Are we getting cancelled?
No, the show got renewed, but we're firing you 3.
What the fuck?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that, guys. A bit of a strange one again, but I think, like I said at the start, this is more of a satire AI than uncanny AI. So, yeah, I liked it. Again, the guy is Neuroviz. The channel's called Neuroviz, and this is the stuff he does. That's his channel. I will put the link in the description, and bless you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I did. I think they're quite funny. So hope you guys like them as well. And all credit to Neuroviz. Nothing to do with me. Bless you guys. Hear the Sunset's free. It's free indeed. Ta-da.